It was nearly midnight in Portland, Oregon, and the animal clinic glowed like a lonely beacon through sheets of cold, relentless rain. Anna Lewis hurried through the glass doors, her breath steaming in the winter air, her arms wrapped tight around the limp body of her aging German shepherd, Sonny. The world outside was muffled and distant, but inside, the fluorescent lights buzzed harshly, and the antiseptic tang caught in Anna's throat. She was trembling, not from the cold, but from the fear that tonight would be the last time she held Sonny in her arms. Sonny, always the strong protector, the gentle shadow at Anna's heels, now lay against her chest, barely able to lift her head. Her once lustrous coat was thin and patchy, her eyes glassy with pain. Anna lowered herself into a corner of the waiting area, cradling Sonny's head, and tried to steady her hands. Other pet owners glanced over, some with sympathy, some with silent understanding, all aware of the unspoken truth. This was a place where goodbyes were too often said. Anna pressed her face to Sonny's ear. "You're my best girl," she whispered, her voice cracking. "You've carried me through so much. I don't know how to do this without you." As the clinic clock ticked past midnight, a vet tech called Anna's name. Dr. Mark Bennett, tall and gentle-eyed, met her in the hallway. Beside him was Olivia Harris, the night nurse with warm brown eyes and hands that radiated calm. Anna tried to walk steadily, but every step felt like moving through quicksand. Sonny's breathing was shallow and ragged, her body limp except for the occasional twitch of a paw. Inside the exam room, time seemed to slow. The rain drummed on the window, a metronome for Anna's pounding heart. Dr. Bennett spoke softly, asking about Sonny's symptoms, how long she'd been struggling, what medications she'd tried. Anna's answers came in fits and starts. It was all a blur. The slow decline, the vet visits, the hope that maybe, just maybe, there would be a miracle. But tonight, all Anna felt was an ache that threatened to hollow her out. "Anna," Dr. Bennett said gently, "I know how much you love her. We're going to run a few tests, but if you want to say goodbye, now might be the time." Anna's vision blurred. She felt as if she were floating above herself, watching another woman hold her dying dog. Olivia passed her a box of tissues and squeezed her shoulder. "Take your time. We're right here." Anna folded herself onto the floor beside the table, not caring about the cold linoleum. She wrapped her arms around Sonny, pressing their faces together. For a moment, the world outside, the rain, the strangers, even the sterile smell of the clinic, faded. It was just Anna and Sonny, as it had always been. Two souls who had survived so much together. Sonny's chest shuddered, and Anna felt the faint thud of her heart. It was weaker than she remembered, as if the last bit of life were slipping away. Suddenly, Sonny shifted, drawing a shaky breath. With the last of her strength, she pressed her head under Anna's chin and lifted a trembling paw, wrapping it awkwardly around Anna's neck. The gesture was clumsy, desperate, but unmistakable. A hug, as if Sonny herself was trying to comfort Anna through her own pain. Anna gasped, tears flooding her cheeks. She clung to Sonny, her fingers tangling in the dog's fur. "I promised I'd never let you go," she whispered. "I promised." The room filled with a heavy silence. Dr. Bennett stepped closer, holding a syringe. Olivia gently explained, "This is just to help her sleep, so she won't feel anything." Anna nodded, but as she looked into Sonny's eyes, she saw something flicker there. Not resignation, not peace, but a stubborn, wild hope. Sonny's gaze locked on Anna's as if to say, "Not yet." A memory crashed over Anna, her darkest night after her husband's death, when she had nearly given up, and Sonny had nudged her awake with a wet nose and warm breath. Sonny had never left her then. Was Anna about to give up too soon? Anna's hands tightened around Sonny, her mind racing. "Wait!" she blurted, her voice barely above a whisper, but sharp enough to stop Dr. Bennett's hand. "Just, wait." Dr. Bennett paused, concern flickering across his face. "Anna, she's suffering." But Olivia, always the careful observer, knelt beside Anna and laid a hand on Sonny's side. "Her pulse feels stronger all of a sudden," she said quietly, glancing at Dr. Bennett. "I think something's changed." Anna stared at her dog, hope and fear tangled so tightly she could barely breathe. Sonny's grip hadn't loosened. Her eyes were brighter, just a glimmer, but enough to make Anna's heart stutter with something like belief. For a moment, the world held its breath. Rain battered the windows. Anna's tears mingled with Sonny's fur, and in that fragile, uncertain space between hope and heartbreak, Anna realized she wasn't ready to say goodbye, not if there was even a sliver of possibility. She stroked Sonny's muzzle, whispering, "We're not done. Not yet." And as Dr. Bennett and Olivia exchanged uncertain glances, the night shifted, a thread of suspense pulled tight, a promise that the story wasn't over. Not if Anna had anything left to give. The exam room felt like a world suspended between moments, the pale green walls closing in as Anna clung to that one improbable spark she saw in Sonny's eyes. Every breath felt like it could be the last, every heartbeat a negotiation between love and grief. Dr. Bennett, seeing Anna's sudden resolve, lowered the syringe and looked to Olivia for her opinion. "Let's just check her pulse again," Olivia suggested quietly, her voice a calming anchor in the storm of Anna's panic. She slipped the stethoscope into her ears and pressed it gently against Sonny's side. For a long, silent minute she listened, brow furrowing. Anna barely dared to breathe. The rain outside was relentless, hammering the windows, and the room was filled with the low hum of machines and the soft, rhythmic sound of Sonny's labored breathing. Anna's mind ran wild. Was she being selfish? Was she refusing to let go out of love or out of fear? She tried to steady herself, remembering all the times she'd told friends that sometimes the kindest thing you can do for an animal is let them go. But this didn't feel like letting go. It felt like abandoning her best friend at the finish line. Then Olivia's eyes met Dr. Bennett's. "Her pulse is stronger," she said, uncertainty coloring her words, but hope starting to bloom at the edges. I can't explain it, but it's definitely not as faint as before. Her eyes are tracking better too." Dr. Bennett hesitated. "It's unusual," he admitted, "but not impossible. Sometimes adrenaline can give a temporary boost, but it might not last. Anna, I need you to be prepared. Even if she rallies for a moment, things could go downhill quickly." Anna nodded, biting her lip. Her mind was swirling. What if this was just a fluke? What if she was giving herself false hope? But as she gazed at Sonny, her Sonny, who had never quit on her, she realized she couldn't walk away from this sliver of possibility, not when she could feel Sonny's heart thudding beneath her hand. Olivia gently adjusted Sonny's IV, checking the line for any kinks. She spoke in a low voice, mostly to Dr. Bennett, but loud enough for Anna to hear. "It might be worth running a few more tests before we make any decisions. I don't think she's ready." Anna felt a rush of gratitude toward Olivia, as if the nurse had read the silent plea in her eyes. Dr. Bennett sighed, his professionalism struggling against the raw emotion in the room. "All right," he said. Let's get a full blood panel and chest X-ray. I want to know what we're really dealing with." As they moved Sunny gently onto the table for tests, Anna found herself caught in the purgatory of waiting. She stroked Sunny's ears, whispering, "You're so brave. I wish I were half as brave as you." Sunny's tail gave a faint twitch, barely perceptible, but enough to send a fresh wave of tears down Anna's face. Minutes stretched into hours as the clinic settled into the heavy hush of the night shift. Anna was alone with her thoughts, replaying memories like old home movies. Sunny as a puppy, clumsy and joyful. Sunny pressing close to Anna's side on sleepless nights after her husband's death. Sunny chasing crows across the backyard, barking like she owned the sky. In each scene, Anna saw not just a pet, but a lifeline, a constant through every storm. Nurse Olivia ducked back into the room, carrying a fresh blanket for Anna and a bowl of water for Sunny. "Try to get some rest," she murmured. "We're running the labs now. It'll be a bit." Anna wrapped herself in the blanket, shivering not from cold, but from the weight of everything she didn't know. She watched as Olivia knelt to Sunny's level, whispering soft encouragements and gently stroking her fur. There was a warmth to Olivia that went beyond medical skill, a kind of gentle hope that Anna clung to like a life raft. Time slowed. Somewhere down the hallway, Anna could hear the muted sounds of another family saying goodbye to their old tabby cat, the sorrow in their voices echoing her own fears. The sense of shared heartbreak was almost unbearable. Yet here, in the isolation of this small room, Anna felt a surprising surge of clarity. Maybe hope wasn't just about big gestures or miracles. Maybe it was about showing up again and again, even when it seemed pointless. After what felt like an eternity, Dr. Bennett returned, holding a stack of printouts. His face was serious, but not grim. "Anna," he said, "we found something. There's evidence of a severe infection, maybe sepsis, but it's not hopeless. It's aggressive, but with intensive care and the right antibiotics, there's a chance." Anna's heart leapt and then crashed. Relief and terror warred inside her. She wanted to believe, but she'd seen hope snatched away before. She looked down at Sunny, who was now watching her with something like trust, a silent vow that if Anna wouldn't give up, neither would she. "We'll need to start treatment right away," Dr. Bennett continued. "It's not guaranteed, but there's a real shot. I won't lie, it's going to be a tough road." Anna nodded, voice shaking. "We fight, whatever it takes." The clinic team sprang into action, prepping medications and setting up a quiet corner for Anna to stay by Sunny's side. As the storm raged outside, Anna realized she'd crossed a threshold between the easy comfort of letting go and the wild, uncertain territory of hope. That night, she clung to Sunny's paw, whispering, "We're not saying goodbye. We're just beginning again." And as the clock ticked toward dawn, Anna felt a fierce determination bloom inside her. If Sunny was willing to fight, so was she. The storm outside settled into a steady, hypnotic rhythm against the windows, as if time itself had slowed to match the fragile tempo of Sunny's breathing. The clock on the wall blinked past 2 a.m. Anna sat hunched in a plastic chair, her gaze fixed on her beloved German shepherd, whose chest rose and fell with shallow, uncertain breaths. Every small movement, a twitch of Sunny's ear, the flicker of her eyes, sent Anna's heart lurching between dread and hope. Dr. Bennett and Olivia drifted in and out with updates, quietly checking monitors, adjusting IVs, and offering gentle encouragements. The blood work was running, the X-rays were finished, and a new course of antibiotics had begun dripping slowly into Sunny's vein. All Anna could do was wait. She stroked Sunny's muzzle and stared at the machines, wishing she could do something more than simply be present. The room was filled with soft beeps and the scent of antiseptic. Anna's mind wandered, tugged back into memory by the weight of helplessness. She remembered a winter evening just like this, years ago, the day after her husband's funeral, when the world felt as bleak and cold as this rain-soaked city. Anna had come home to an empty house, a silent table, and the thudding ache of loss. She'd collapsed on the kitchen floor, unable to move. It was Sunny, still just a puppy then, who had climbed awkwardly into her lap, resting her warm head on Anna's thigh. In that moment, Anna hadn't felt so alone. Tears stung Anna's eyes. She realized how deeply her own healing was entwined with Sunny's unwavering loyalty. Every heartbreak, every setback, Sunny had been her anchor, her reminder that life could still be sweet. Now, as Sunny's life dangled by a thread, Anna was the one holding vigil, fighting for every breath. A nurse poked her head in to offer coffee. Anna shook her head, lost in memory. She whispered softly to Sunny, "Remember the time you chewed through the bathroom door? Or when you snuck onto the bed the first night we moved in?" Sunny gave a tiny sigh, her eyes fluttering. Anna laughed, a fragile sound in the silence. "You're the best trouble I ever had." The waiting dragged on, each minute stretching thin with anxiety. Anna watched as Olivia sat cross-legged beside Sunny, gently running her fingers over the dog's fur. "She's a fighter," Olivia said softly, glancing up at Anna. "You both are. I can feel it." Anna smiled weakly. "I don't feel strong. Not tonight." "You don't have to," Olivia replied. "You just have to be here." The words settled in Anna's heart like a balm. She realized that hope was less about certainty and more about showing up, refusing to turn away when things got dark. Anna had done that for Sunny, and Sunny had always done that for her. Suddenly Sunny stirred, lifting her head just enough to nudge Anna's hand. Her nose was cool and dry, but the gesture was unmistakable. Comfort, reassurance, and a plea not to give up. Anna squeezed Sunny's paw, blinking back tears. "I'm not going anywhere," she whispered. The night staff moved with hushed efficiency, checking on other pets, an anxious terrier whimpering down the hall, a sleepy cat in a heated bed. Anna felt a strange camaraderie with these strangers, all of them suspended in their own anxious weights, tethered together by love and worry. Outside, the rain finally softened, the rhythmic drumming easing into a gentle hush. The city felt far away, as if Anna and Sunny existed in a bubble of time. Anna leaned back and let exhaustion sweep over her. For the first time in hours, she allowed herself to breathe a little easier. The machines still beeped. Sunny still fought. For now, that was enough. As dawn inched closer, Anna drifted in and out of a restless sleep. She dreamed of running through sunlit fields, Sunny bounding beside her, ears flying, tongue lolling, the world filled with laughter and light. She woke with a start to find Sunny's eyes watching her, filled with something Anna couldn't quite name. Trust, love, maybe even forgiveness. Dr. Bennett returned with the first hopeful news. "Her vitals are holding steady," he reported, the fatigue in his face giving way to a tired smile. "The antibiotics are helping. She's not out of the woods, but this is a good sign." Anna's relief was palpable, a wave that nearly left her dizzy. She reached out, cupping Sunny's face between her palms. "You hear that, girl? You're a miracle." For a moment, Anna let herself imagine the impossible, that Sonny might come home again, that they would have another walk in the park, another lazy Sunday afternoon by the fire. She wanted to believe. She needed to. The sun began to rise, painting the clinic in a soft, golden glow. Anna stroked Sonny's fur, whispering every hope she dared not speak aloud. "Stay with me," she pleaded, her voice trembling. "Just a little longer." Sonny's tail thumped, weak but determined. Anna's heart soared. It wasn't a promise of forever, but it was a promise for today. And for Anna, after a night at the edge, that was enough. The soft pink light of dawn trickled through the high clinic windows, tinting everything with a hesitant hope. Anna's head throbbed with exhaustion, but she stayed rooted at Sonny's side, unwilling to let go even for a moment. She watched each rise and fall of Sonny's chest, searching for signs that her beloved companion was truly fighting back, that the night's small miracles would not vanish with the morning. Dr. Bennett entered quietly, holding a tablet, his voice calm but grave. "Anna, the latest blood work confirms what we suspected. Sonny's battling a severe infection, one that's aggressive but treatable." He outlined an intensive plan. High-dose intravenous antibiotics, constant monitoring, a cocktail of fluids and medications, and, if things worsened, emergency interventions. It was a road with no guarantees, only the possibility of hope balanced precariously against the risk of more pain. Anna felt the weight of the choice pressing down on her chest. For a moment, the room blurred, the antiseptic brightness, the hush of early morning, the quiet beeping of machines. Dr. Bennett was still speaking, explaining the risks, the slim odds, the possibility that even if Sonny survived, her body might be forever weakened. Anna only half heard. In her mind, she was replaying every moment of their journey. Sonny chasing sticks in the rain, barking joyfully at the mailman, curling up beside Anna on stormy nights. Every laugh, every comfort, every reason to fight. But the fear was real, and Anna felt it gnawing at the edges of her resolve. What if she put Sonny through all this suffering, and it was all for nothing? What if hope was just another form of selfishness, her own inability to let go when it was time? Anna's heart ached with guilt and doubt. Olivia appeared beside her, a quiet presence refilling Sonny's IV and adjusting her blankets. "It's not wrong to hope," Olivia said softly, almost as if reading Anna's mind. "Sometimes, that's the bravest thing you can do." Anna met Olivia's eyes, searching for judgment but finding only compassion. The night nurse's words stuck with her, echoes of what Anna herself had told friends in moments of crisis. How easy it was to offer wisdom to others, and how impossible it felt to accept it for herself. Anna looked at Sonny, her fur ruffled, her breathing still ragged, but her eyes steady and clear. "You're not giving up," Anna whispered. "So neither am I." A surge of determination pulsed through Anna, burning away some of the paralyzing fear. "Let's do it," she said firmly to Dr. Bennett. "Whatever it takes, we fight." A sense of purpose swept through the small team. Olivia squeezed Anna's hand and offered to stay late, even though her shift was supposed to end soon. "I'm not leaving her," she said, rolling a spare cot into the corner. Anna was moved almost to tears. In the haze of anxiety and fatigue, these small kindnesses felt monumental. As the new treatment regimen began, Anna helped where she could, stroking Sonny's head, murmuring gentle encouragements, holding her paw through every injection and test. The hours crawled by in a blur of hope and worry. Anna grew attuned to every twitch, every sound, every subtle shift in Sunny's demeanor. She cataloged them all: a slightly stronger tail wag, a softer look in Sunny's eyes, the faintest flicker of appetite when Anna offered a treat. Outside the clinic, the city woke to a cold, gray morning. But inside, the world was reduced to the size of Sunny's bed and the circle of care around her. Anna found herself strangely grateful for the bubble of isolation, a place where grief and hope could coexist, where time moved at the pace of healing. Between check-ins and rounds, Anna and Olivia shared small, quiet conversations. Anna talked about her late husband, the way he'd laughed, the gentle way he'd welcomed Sunny into their family. Olivia shared her own story. She'd lost her first dog, a border collie named Daisy, when she was 19. "She taught me everything about love," Olivia confessed, "and about letting go too. But I'd give anything to have fought a little harder for just one more day." The words lingered in Anna's heart. She thought of all the times she'd nearly surrendered to despair, after her husband's death, after losing her job, after moving to Portland alone. Sunny had always been there, insisting on morning walks, demanding treats, keeping Anna grounded in the rhythm of living. It was Anna's turn now. As dusk approached, the clinic felt quieter, the tension stretching thin but unbroken. Dr. Bennett and Olivia moved through the treatment steps methodically, their voices hushed. Anna remained at Sunny's side, feeling a profound shift within herself. The fear of more loss still gripped her, but it no longer controlled her. She leaned close to Sunny and whispered, "I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I promise you, I'll be right here, no matter what." Sunny, though exhausted, gave a weak but unmistakable lick to Anna's hand, a silent affirmation of their bond. Anna closed her eyes and let herself believe, if only for a moment, that love really could pull them through the darkness. As the night crept back in and the clinic's lights dimmed for evening rounds, Anna pressed her forehead to Sunny's and breathed in the familiar scent of her fur. She was still scared. She was still uncertain. But she was no longer alone. Not with Sunny fighting beside her. Not with Olivia's quiet strength. Not with the fragile, defiant hope that refused to die. And so, as the world outside spun on, Anna chose again and again to hold on. Night settled again over the city, and inside the animal clinic, time slowed to a crawl. The bright lights of the waiting room cast elongated shadows on the floor, flickering with each passing car outside. Anna huddled on a hard plastic chair beside Sunny's recovery bed, hands wrapped around a styrofoam cup of bitter coffee that Olivia had pressed into her palms. Her body ached with exhaustion, but her mind remained sharp, hyper-attuned to every sound and movement around her best friend. All through the clinic, there was a quiet kind of solidarity, an unspoken bond among the handful of people waiting and worrying over their own loved companions. In the corner, a teenage boy cradled a shivering, elderly beagle beneath a faded blanket. Across from Anna, a couple sat side by side, sharing whispered words as their orange tabby cat dozed on their laps. Now and then, someone would catch Anna's eye and offer a small nod or a tired smile. In this place, everyone knew heartbreak. Everyone knew the ache of hope clinging to the thinnest of threads. Dr. Bennett moved in and out, never lingering long, but always stopping to check Sunny's monitors, to adjust her IV, or to offer Anna a few words of reassurance. "She's fighting," he'd say, sometimes pausing to lay a gentle hand on Sunny's side. "She's still with us, Anna. That means something." Anna drew strength from those small gestures, but the fear never truly left her. Each time Sunny whimpered or trembled, Anna's heart clenched tight. She stroked the old dog's head, whispering stories about the walks they'd take when Sunny was well, about the lazy summer days that seemed so far away now. "We'll go to the park again," Anna promised. "Just you wait." Olivia checked in often, sometimes bringing a fresh blanket or a cup of tea, sometimes just sitting with Anna in companionable silence. "You're not alone," she'd remind Anna, and Anna believed her. In this room, no one had to be alone with their fear. Outside, the rain began again, beating a gentle rhythm on the clinic's roof. Anna glanced at the clock. Midnight had come and gone. Now it was closer to 3 a.m. Still, the vigil continued. The waiting room felt like a world apart, suspended in time, a sanctuary where worry and kindness quietly intertwined. Sunny drifted in and out of feverish sleep, her breath sometimes quick and shallow, sometimes deep and rattling. Anna wiped her dog's brow with a cool cloth, watching for any sign of improvement. Now and then, Sunny's eyes would flicker open, meeting Anna's gaze with a look that was part confusion, part gratitude. Even in her weakest moments, Sunny seemed to understand that Anna wasn't leaving. Anna was her anchor, just as Sunny had been Anna's for so many years. The sense of community in the clinic grew stronger as the night wore on. The teenage boy's beagle whimpered softly, and Anna offered a tissue. The boy managed a wobbly smile. "Thanks. She's had a tough year." Anna nodded. "So is mine." They didn't need to say more. Their stories were different, but their hearts were the same. At one point, the power flickered. A brief, tense moment where the lights dimmed and all the machines beeped in protest. Olivia rushed to the front desk, double-checking emergency supplies. The staff moved quickly, their movements practiced and calm. Anna's anxiety surged, but Olivia caught her eye from across the room and mouthed, "It's okay." The power returned, and the clinic settled back into its steady hum. Anna found herself watching the others, how the couple with the cat leaned into each other, how the boy whispered to his beagle, how a tired father stroked the ears of his golden retriever, his daughter asleep on his lap. Grief and hope rippled through the room in silent waves, binding them all together for a few precious hours. No one judged the tears or the prayers. Here, vulnerability was met only with compassion. As the hours crawled by, Anna drifted in and out of restless sleep, her head nodding against the back of her chair. Each time she woke, she checked Sunny's breathing, pressing a trembling hand to her dog's chest. She was never fully at rest. Her heart kept her vigilant, her mind refusing to let go of the possibility of one more day, one more moment. Dr. Bennett and Olivia checked on Sunny every hour, sometimes making adjustments to her medication, sometimes just sitting beside Anna and sharing a quiet word. "You're doing everything you can," Dr. Bennett assured her, "and she knows you're here. That matters." Around 5 a.m., as a pale gray light began to seep through the windows, Sunny's fever rose again. Anna's panic flared. She called for Olivia, who responded instantly, checking Sunny's vitals and running for Dr. Bennett. The staff worked quickly, adjusting fluids and cooling Sunny with damp towels. Anna hovered at Sunny's side, whispering encouragement, her own fear rising with every shaky breath. Other pet owners watched, some offering quiet prayers, others just silently bearing witness. The shared anxiety in the room reached a peak, holding its breath as the clinic team did everything in their power. Finally, Sunny's breathing evened out. Her fever remained, but the crisis had passed. For now. Anna exhaled shakily, pressing her forehead to Sunny's. "You're not done, are you?" she murmured. Sonny's tail gave the faintest thump in response. As dawn finally broke, the mood in the clinic shifted. Exhaustion lingered, but so did a flicker of hope. Anna looked around the room at the faces she'd come to recognize. The boy and his beagle, the couple with their cat, the tired father and his golden retriever. For a few hours, they had all become a family, holding each other up on the knife's edge between loss and hope. Anna smiled through her tears, grateful for the fragile, beautiful humanity that had sustained her through the longest night of her life. No matter what the morning brought, she knew she and Sonny would face it together, and they wouldn't face it alone. The darkest hour was just before dawn. In the gray, restless hush that seeped through the clinic windows, Anna's exhaustion became an ache in her bones. She barely registered the passage of time anymore. It was all measured in breaths, hers and Sonny's. Every rise and fall of her dog's chest was a countdown, every shiver a threat that the fight might be ending. Anna reached for Sonny's paw, squeezing it gently. The world beyond the clinic might as well not have existed. The rain had faded to a cold drizzle, making the streets outside gleam in the sodium lights. But inside, the air was thick with worry. Anna watched the condensation crawl down the glass and tried to ignore the gnawing dread in her gut. A sudden, sharp beep from the heart monitor broke the uneasy stillness. Anna's eyes snapped open. Sonny's breathing was erratic, fast, shallow, then dangerously slow. Her nose felt hotter than before, and her body trembled under the blankets. Anna's fear spiked. "Olivia!" she cried out, her voice rough from hours of whispering encouragement and worry. Within seconds, Olivia was there, moving with purpose, her face alert. She pressed the back of her hand to Sonny's ears and checked her temperature, then called for Dr. Bennett. Anna heard urgency in Olivia's voice, and it terrified her. "Fever's spiking. We need to act now," Olivia said, her words clipped and focused. Anna stood back as the team swept in, a flurry of quick movements, gloves snapping, drawers opening, the urgent click and hiss of machines. Dr. Bennett entered, his face tired but laser-focused. "We're going to change her IV," he said, "and try to get her fever under control. Anna, keep talking to her. She needs to know you're here." Anna did as she was told, leaning in close to Sonny's ear. "Stay with me, sweetheart. You're not done yet. Remember how you used to chase the ducks by the river? Remember your squeaky ball?" Her voice broke. "We're not finished, Sonny. Please, don't leave me yet." Olivia slipped an ice pack beneath Sonny's chest, while Dr. Bennett adjusted the IV and injected a fresh round of antibiotics. The machines beeped, measuring each faltering heartbeat. Anna watched Sonny's body shudder, fighting with everything she had left. Olivia mopped sweat from Sonny's brow, murmuring, "Come on, girl, you can do this. You've come so far." For a long, gut-wrenching moment, Anna feared she was losing her. The room narrowed, filled only with the sounds of her dog's desperate panting and the staff's quiet commands. Anna pressed her forehead to Sonny's side, tears falling hot and silent. "Please stay," she begged over and over. "I need you. I'm not ready." The crisis stretched on, tense, endless minutes where every second felt like a test of hope itself. The rest of the clinic seemed to recede. Anna's world became the sound of Sonny's heartbeat, the rise and fall of her ribs, the warmth of fur beneath her trembling hands. The other owners in the waiting room watched, some whispering prayers, others simply bearing witness in sympathetic silence. Suddenly, after what felt like a lifetime, something shifted. Sonny's breathing grew steadier, her pulse less frantic. Dr. Bennett checked the monitors, then met Anna's eyes and nodded, A tiny gesture, but one that released a dam of hope. "She's stabilizing," he said quietly. "That was close, but she's fighting." Anna almost collapsed with relief, sinking onto the edge of the bed. She stroked Sonny's head, whispering her gratitude, promising everything she could think of if only Sonny would keep holding on. Olivia squeezed Anna's shoulder, her own eyes shining with emotion. "You did good," she said. "She knew you were here." Dawn finally broke, painting the clinic with soft gold and pale blue. The world outside was still, as if it too was waiting to see what would happen next. Anna sat in the gentle hush, too spent for words, but filled with a quiet, growing belief that they might really make it through. The other families in the clinic began to stir, offering soft congratulations or hopeful glances. Anna met the teenage boy's eyes. He nodded, holding up his beagle's paw in a silent salute of solidarity. The couple with the orange cat smiled at Anna, sharing in the relief that hope had not been lost. Anna reached for her phone and snapped a photo, just Sonny's paw resting in her hand, the faint outline of IV tape and bandages. She wanted to remember this, the moment when everything seemed lost, and yet life refused to give in. She texted the picture to her sister, adding just one word: "Still here." For the first time in what felt like forever, Anna allowed herself a tiny smile. She laid her head beside Sonny's and closed her eyes, letting exhaustion claim her. The monitors beeped softly, a lullaby of survival. Anna drifted on the edge of sleep, dreaming of wide-open fields and sunshine, of one more walk with Sonny, one more day. When she woke, Anna found Olivia sitting beside her, offering a cup of warm tea. "How's she doing?" Anna asked, her voice hoarse. Olivia smiled. "She's holding steady. Her fever's down and her breathing strong. That was a rough patch, but she's tougher than she looks. So are you." Anna sipped the tea, grateful for its warmth and the steady comfort of Olivia's presence. She looked at Sonny, who blinked and thumped her tail, and for the first time dared to believe in the possibility of a miracle. "Thank you," Anna whispered to Olivia, to Dr. Bennett, to the strangers in the waiting room, and to Sonny herself. "Thank you for not giving up." The sun was fully up now, light streaming through the windows, filling the clinic with new energy. Anna smiled through her tears, ready to face whatever came next. The hardest part of the night had passed, and, against all odds, her best friend was still with her. Sunlight broke over Portland, golden and gentle, filtering through the high windows of the animal clinic like a silent benediction. Anna blinked, momentarily unsure if she was awake or dreaming. Her body ached from hours hunched beside Sonny, her mind still fogged with exhaustion, but a profound sense of calm replaced the terror of the night before. The air felt different, cleaner, lighter, carrying the promise that maybe, just maybe, they'd found their way back from the edge. Sonny was the first to stir. Anna felt the shift before she saw it, a soft nudge against her palm, the faintest twitch of a tail beneath the blanket. She sat up, hope springing to her chest. Sonny's eyes, which had been so dull and clouded, blinked open, and her gaze met Anna's with a glimmer of recognition. For the first time in days, there was a spark there, faint but real. "Hey, beautiful girl," Anna whispered, brushing her hand across Sonny's head. "You're still here." Sonny licked Anna's hand, weak but unmistakable. Anna's tears came fast and unashamed, tears of relief, of gratitude, of a love too deep for words. Dr. Bennett arrived a few minutes later, his tired face brightening as he took in the sight. He knelt beside Sonny, gently examining her. Her fever's down. Heart rate is steady. She's still got a fight ahead of her. But this is a very good sign, Anna. Anna couldn't stop smiling. She looked over her shoulder and saw Olivia beaming from the doorway, clutching a cup of coffee and blinking away her own tears. The waiting room seemed to brighten. The teenage boy with the beagle let out a soft cheer. The couple with the orange cat exchanged relieved smiles, and even the night shift receptionist paused to offer Anna a congratulatory thumbs up. The news traveled quietly, but its effect was palpable. Strangers who'd spent the night together in anxious silence now felt like something closer to friends. Someone brought Anna a bagel and a cup of orange juice. Someone else placed a hand on her shoulder and whispered, "Miracles do happen." The mood in the clinic shifted, from tension and fear to something almost celebratory, a shared sense of triumph against the odds. Sunny, still weak but eager, lapped at the bowl of water Olivia placed in front of her. She even managed to sit up, wobbly but determined, and Anna's laughter filled the room, chasing away the last vestiges of the night's darkness. For the first time in ages, Anna dared to hope that Sunny might really come home again. Other victories unfolded quietly throughout the clinic. The boy's beagle wagged her tail for the first time in hours, drawing cheers from her young owner. The couple's cat purred, curling up in his carrier, content and safe. There was a sense that everyone's fortunes had somehow become linked, that hope for one was hope for all. Olivia made her rounds, exchanging knowing smiles and gentle encouragements. She paused beside Anna, watching Sunny take another small sip of water. "She's amazing," Olivia murmured. "You both are. Nights like that, they change people." Anna nodded, overwhelmed by gratitude. She reached out, catching Olivia's hand. "I don't know what I would have done without you. Without all of you." Her voice trembled with emotion. "I thought I was alone in this." "You're never really alone," Olivia said softly. "Not here. Not when you love something this much." Anna squeezed her hand, letting the words sink in. It was true. She had come into the clinic convinced she was carrying her grief alone. Now, looking around at the faces of the other pet owners, at the staff who'd stayed long past their shifts, she realized she was part of something larger. A community built on empathy, on the willingness to hope for strangers. Sunny's progress continued in small, hard-won steps. She lifted her head to look out the window as birds chirped in the morning light. Anna sat with her, telling stories of the walks they would take, the rivers they'd swim in, the lazy afternoons they'd spend in the garden. She dared to imagine those days again. Dr. Bennett checked in, monitoring Sunny's vitals, his manner warm but cautious. "She's not out of the woods yet," he reminded Anna. "But this is the best we could have hoped for. Keep her calm, let her rest. You both need it." Anna nodded, understanding the fragility of this victory. She helped Sunny settle back into her bed, covering her with a fresh blanket and humming softly. The world outside continued. Cars rolled past. People hurried to work. The city hummed. But inside the clinic, time moved differently, marked by each small sign of healing. By noon, the waiting room had emptied. The teenage boy left, beagle in tow, waving goodbye and promising to bring pictures on his next visit. The couple carried their cat out, pausing to thank Anna for sharing the night and her story. Anna watched them go, feeling both lighter and heavier at once. She turned back to Sunny, who met her gaze with quiet trust. Anna leaned close, whispering, "You did it, sweetheart. You made it through." Sunny's tail wagged, a weak but real promise that for today, hope had triumphed. Anna sat back, letting the warmth of morning settle over her, and realized how much her world had changed. Love had pulled them through the darkness, and in its wake, left something new. A deeper gratitude, a fierce belief in the power of hope, and a quiet connection to every stranger who had shared in their fight. For the first time in a long time, Anna allowed herself to believe that the best days might still be ahead. The quiet that followed Sunny's miraculous turn felt sacred. Anna sat beside her dog, exhausted but alert, watching the gentle rise and fall of Sunny's chest as she drifted in and out of healing sleep. The steady beep of the monitors was now a comfort, no longer an omen, and Anna let herself simply be, grateful, spent, and open to the new stillness that had filled the room. Sunlight stretched across the floor, and the clinic's everyday rhythms slowly returned. Phones ringing, laughter at the front desk, the steady shuffle of nurses moving through morning rounds. Yet for Anna, time felt suspended. The intensity of the night's crisis lingered, its lessons weaving through her mind, calling her to pause and truly take in what she and Sunny had survived. Anna reached over and stroked Sunny's ear, feeling the warmth beneath her palm. She was struck by the realization that her journey with Sunny had always been one of learning, not just about care and responsibility, but about how to face the impossible. She understood now that hope was not blind or naive. It was, in fact, an act of courage, a decision to stand at the threshold of heartbreak and keep loving anyway. She leaned back in her chair, watching Sunny dream, and let her thoughts wander back to all the crossroads they'd faced together. After her husband's death, Anna had felt lost in grief, floating through her days in a haze. She'd wanted to give up so many times. It was Sunny, stubborn and loyal, who forced her out of bed with insistent paws and a wagging tail, who kept her tethered to the world even when Anna would have preferred to disappear. It was Sunny's unconditional love that healed Anna bit by bit, showing her that there was life, messy, unpredictable, and beautiful, still left to live. Now, in the aftermath of almost losing her, Anna saw with aching clarity that her love for Sunny was not just about holding on, but about knowing when to let go. It wasn't about surrendering to despair, but about trusting what love could still do, even in the darkest hour. She realized she could have missed this second chance if she'd let fear make her decisions. Fear of pain, fear of loss, fear that hope was foolish. But hope, she saw, was not the absence of fear. It was the choice to reach for something better in spite of it. The memory of that long night played over and over in her mind. The strangers who'd sat with her in the waiting room, the nurse who'd stayed late, the doctor who hadn't given up. In those hours, Anna had witnessed the extraordinary power of shared vulnerability. For a few short hours, a handful of people had become a community, united by the simple fact that they loved and feared losing someone who couldn't speak for themselves. She realized now how rare and precious that connection was. Anna watched Olivia make her morning rounds, offering gentle words to anxious owners, sometimes sharing a quick hug or a knowing look. Anna realized how much courage it took to be present in other people's pain, to walk with them into the unknown. She felt a wave of gratitude, not just for Olivia and Dr. Bennett, but for everyone who had chosen hope alongside her. Their kindness had made the difference between despair and belief, between isolation and belonging. Anna stood and stretched, feeling the ache in her body ease a little. She walked to the window and looked out at the city bathed in soft sunlight. Everything seemed sharper, clearer, the world the same, but Anna herself irrevocably changed. She understood now that letting go wasn't weakness, nor was holding on an act of stubbornness. Both were simply the shape love took, changing from moment to moment, guiding her through the hardest choices. She returned to Sunny's side, kneeling and whispering, "You saved me. You know that? Not just last night, but every day since you came into my life. I hope I did the same for you." Sunny opened one eye, gave a tiny thump of her tail, and let out a sigh as if in agreement. A knock at the door broke the silence. Olivia, smiling with tired warmth. "She's doing well. Would you like to take her out for a short walk later, just around the courtyard?" Anna nodded, tears pricking her eyes again, not from fear but from relief and gratitude. The simplest things, fresh air, a gentle walk, the sun on their faces, felt like riches beyond measure. As Anna and Sunny ventured out later that day, the small acts of kindness from the night before replayed in Anna's mind. She found herself wanting to give back, to reach out to the next worried face in the waiting room, to pay forward the hope she'd been given. She realized this, too, was part of loving deeply, transforming pain into compassion, turning private suffering into something that could heal others. Back inside, Anna watched Sunny settle onto her blanket, looking content, if tired. Anna sat beside her and pulled out her phone, opening a note and beginning to write. She wanted to capture everything: the fear, the uncertainty, the love that had gotten them through. She wanted to remember that miracles were sometimes small and quiet, that they were born from persistence and community, and that every act of courage, no matter how small, was worth celebrating. As the afternoon sun began to fade, Anna leaned over and pressed her forehead to Sunny's. "Thank you for teaching me how to hope," she whispered. "Thank you for teaching me how to let go, and when to hold on." She closed her eyes and breathed in the scent of her dog, feeling the profound peace of having been given one more day. In that stillness, Anna understood that the greatest gift of all was not a promise of forever, but the chance to love, to hope, and to belong, even for a little while, on the edge between loss and grace. A week after that harrowing night at the clinic, the world looked different to Anna. Morning sunlight poured through her kitchen window, warming the floorboards where Sunny now dozed, curled up in her favorite patch of sun. The old dog's breathing, once labored and uncertain, had settled into an easy, rhythmic rise and fall. Anna sat at the table, hands wrapped around a mug of coffee, gazing at her companion with a wonder she could not put into words. Everything seemed changed, sharper, more precious. The brush of Sunny's tail against her ankle, the soft thump of her paws on the porch, the little sighs as she dreamed. Each was a quiet miracle. Anna found herself paying attention to things she'd once taken for granted. The way sunlight painted golden stripes across Sunny's fur, the sound of her nails clicking softly on the hardwood, the gentle weight of her head resting in Anna's lap. These moments were no longer ordinary. They were proof that hope, fiercely protected, could turn the tide. Word of Sunny's recovery traveled quickly. It began with Anna's text to her sister, but soon spread to neighbors, friends, and even strangers online. Anna posted a photo of Sunny, her paw bandaged but her eyes bright, along with a few words about their ordeal. She wrote, "Last week I almost said goodbye, but today we're starting a new chapter. Sometimes, when you're ready to let go, life gives you back what you were about to lose." The response stunned her. Dozens of messages poured in, stories of near loss and miraculous recovery, notes of encouragement, photos of old dogs and beloved cats. People Anna had never met reached out to share their own journeys through fear and hope. Anna realized, reading these messages, that she and Sunny had become part of something bigger, a chain of resilience and empathy that stretched beyond the walls of any clinic or home. Her pain and relief were echoed in the voices of others, strangers bound by the same fierce love for their animals, the same willingness to keep hoping even when things looked bleak. It was as if their story, instead of ending at the edge of heartbreak, had become the beginning of a new community. This sense of connection rippled outward. Anna found herself drawn back to the clinic, not as a frightened owner, but as a volunteer. She offered to help in the waiting room, brewing coffee for anxious families, listening to their stories, holding hands during hard goodbyes. She greeted Olivia and Dr. Bennett with hugs, feeling an unspoken bond forged in crisis. "You kept us going," Anna told them. "Now let me help someone else." Some evenings, Anna sat quietly with strangers, sharing her experience, offering comfort and understanding that only someone who'd stood at the edge could provide. Sometimes she'd watch as a young child clung to a sick puppy, or an elderly man stroked the fur of a cat he'd had for decades. Anna would kneel, share a word, or simply sit in silence, her presence enough to remind them that they weren't alone. Sunny's recovery became the heart of Anna's own healing. Together, they took short walks through the neighborhood, neighbors stopping to greet them and marvel at Sunny's resilience. "She's a miracle dog," someone called out one morning, and Anna's smile felt new, unburdened, genuine. Yet Anna knew not every story would end as theirs had. Some days, she mourned with families who said goodbye, her own memories surfacing with each loss. She learned, through these moments, that the courage to hope was matched only by the courage to let go. Both were necessary. Both could be beautiful in their own way. Inspired by the outpouring of online support, Anna started a small group on social media, Hearts at the Edge, where people could share their stories of resilience, loss, and unexpected recovery. The page quickly filled with tributes to pets past and present, messages of encouragement, photos and videos of second chances. Anna moderated, replied, and often found herself crying late into the night, not just for the sadness, but for the hope that bloomed in the sharing. She wrote in one post, "We may not always get the miracle we're hoping for, but every moment of love, every act of kindness, makes the world a little softer. Thank you for showing me how much hope there still is." Through this work, Anna's world expanded. She began attending events for local rescues and shelters, fundraising, volunteering, and speaking about the importance of support for pet owners facing tough decisions. She gave talks about Sunny's story, how close she'd come to giving up, and how love, persistence, and the kindness of strangers had given her a second chance. One quiet afternoon, Anna sat with Sunny on their porch, the sun setting behind the rooftops. She watched the light dance in her dog's eyes and felt a deep gratitude, not just for what she had, but for what she'd learned. She discovered that hope was not a solitary act, but a shared responsibility, a gift given and given back from one heart to another. Anna reflected on that night in the clinic, the way time seemed to stop, the way strangers became a family, the way grief was met with compassion and fear with gentle hands. She realized that while not every goodbye would end with a miracle, every goodbye was an act of love, every struggle a testament to the bond that made life worth living. Her story with Sunny was proof that even when all seemed lost, there was always another chance waiting at the edge. Sometimes, the miracle wasn't in beating the odds, but in discovering how strong you could be and how deeply you could connect with others along the way. Anna bent down, pressed a kiss to Sonny's forehead, and whispered, "Thank you for bringing me back to hope." The world outside was quiet, but inside Anna's heart, something powerful had taken root, a faith in resilience, a trust in community, and a love that could never be undone. The days grew longer, sunlight lingering on the porch where Anna and Sonny spent most evenings. With each passing week, Sonny's strength returned, slowly at first, then all at once, as if the old dog had remembered what it felt like to chase after joy. Anna watched her companion recover with awe, knowing that every extra moment was a gift. The terror of that long night at the clinic faded but never vanished. It was woven now into the fabric of Anna's gratitude, making each simple pleasure, each walk, each belly rub, each nap in the sun, feel extraordinary. It wasn't just Anna and Sonny who had changed. The story of Sonny's fight and Anna's refusal to let go had traveled far. Anna's online group, Hearts at the Edge, had grown beyond anything she'd imagined, blossoming into a haven for thousands of people who'd loved, lost, and fought for their animals. Every day, new stories appeared. Dogs saved at the last minute, cats who found their way home, owners who'd stayed up all night by a beloved pet's side. The group became a circle of support, a place where vulnerability was welcomed, and every win, no matter how small, was celebrated. Anna felt humbled by the way Sonny's story resonated. "I thought I was alone at the edge," she wrote in one post. "But you showed me that hope is never wasted, and kindness never forgotten." The comments and messages became a lifeline not just for Anna, but for everyone who visited. People began sending photos, poems, and even short videos, telling stories of second chances. Some, facing impossible decisions, wrote to say that Anna's journey had helped them find the courage to hope, or the strength to let go with love. That summer, the animal clinic invited Anna and Sonny back for a special open house. Dr. Bennett and Olivia greeted them like old friends. Anna marveled at how much her world had shifted. These faces, once strangers in the anxious dark, now felt like family. The clinic had set up a wall of hope in the waiting room, a patchwork of photos, thank you notes, and stories of survival and compassion. Right at the center was a picture of Sonny from that fateful night, her paw resting in Anna's hand, eyes full of trust and weariness. Beneath it, in Anna's handwriting, was a simple message: "Thank you for believing in second chances." At the event, Anna was asked to speak. She stood by Sonny, heart racing, looking out at the crowd. Families, clinic staff, pet owners old and new. She saw Olivia's warm gaze, Dr. Bennett's steady support, and dozens of faces she recognized from long nights and anxious mornings. Anna took a deep breath. "Sonny's story isn't unique," she began, her voice trembling with emotion. "But it's proof that hope can survive even the longest night. I came to this clinic believing I was at the end. I almost said goodbye, but because of you, because of a little luck, a lot of love, and the kindness of strangers, Sonny's story didn't end that night. It began again." She paused, looking down at her dog, who wagged her tail as if encouraging her to go on. "If you're here tonight, it's because you know what it means to stand on that edge, between hope and heartbreak, between letting go and holding on. Maybe you've fought for a miracle, or maybe you've had to say goodbye. Either way, you belong here. You're part of something strong and beautiful, a community that doesn't give up, even when it hurts." The audience was silent, rapt, some nodding, some wiping away tears. Anna pressed on, her voice growing steady. Sunny taught me that love is never wasted, even if it breaks your heart. She taught me that hope is a choice you make, sometimes every hour, sometimes every breath. And she taught me that none of us are truly alone. We're all in this together. Anna smiled, reaching down to scratch Sunny's ears. If our story has helped you, please share your own. Post a photo, write a few words, or just tell someone that they matter. You never know when your voice will be the light someone else needs to keep going. After the event, Anna and Sunny lingered on the porch as the sun set, the world painted in hues of orange and pink. Anna's phone buzzed. A new message from a stranger, sharing a photo of an old black lab and a story that sounded so much like her own. Anna read it aloud, her heart swelling with connection, empathy, and quiet joy. In the months that followed, Anna continued to volunteer at the clinic. She helped organize support groups for owners facing tough choices, and she brought coffee and pastries to the overnight staff on holidays. She wrote letters to people she'd never met, sometimes just a few sentences of encouragement, sometimes longer stories that reminded them they weren't alone. Her friendship with Olivia deepened. They shared dinners, laughter, and sometimes tears. Dr. Bennett became a trusted confidant, someone who could speak hard truths, but always with kindness. Anna's circle grew, not just in size but in meaning. Each new friend, each shared moment, another ripple in the pond that Sunny's struggle had started. At home, Anna and Sunny settled into a new normal. Some days, Sunny ran like a puppy. Other days, she moved slow and careful, her age showing in each step. Anna cherished every moment, knowing how close she'd come to losing them all. She journaled their adventures, recorded little videos for the online group, and sometimes, late at night, simply held Sunny close, whispering, "Thank you for staying." One evening, Anna recorded a video for the Hearts at the Edge community. She and Sunny sat on the porch, bathed in golden light. Anna spoke from her heart. Sunny's story isn't just ours. It's for anyone who's ever loved, lost, and found the strength to hope again. If our journey touched you, I hope you'll share your own. Leave a memory, a message, or even just a word of encouragement for someone else. Every story matters. Every act of kindness keeps hope alive. As she finished, Sunny rested her head on Anna's knee, looking up with eyes full of trust and quiet wisdom. Anna smiled at the camera, voice soft with gratitude. "Thank you for believing in second chances, for loving as fiercely as you do, for being the hope that makes all the difference." The video was posted that night and quickly filled with stories, hearts, and messages of thanks. Anna knew then that Sunny's miracle was more than survival. It was the ripple of hope spreading outward, touching lives she'd never know, inspiring courage where there had once been only fear. On that porch, as darkness fell, Anna understood that endings and beginnings were woven together, and that sometimes the greatest love of all was found in refusing to give up on hope. And with Sunny by her side, Anna was ready, always, to hold on and to help others do the same.